So that is the call of Tyler Loop missing a field goal, which I've heard out of all the field goals that have ever been missed, it was the first one that has ever been missed that has decided a team's playoff fate in the last week of the season. So the Dick lives on. We get more Dick, which is
More
always
Dick.
either a good thing or a bad thing for us. But we will talk about playoff teams because our teams are clearly not playoff teams. We are the Three New Giant Fans and the Jet Fan Podcast. Your host Scott, Giant Mike, Cardone, and Jet Fan Novak. And guys, there were a couple exciting games. Our games were not that exciting, nor were they really relevant. But I'll tell you what, we're going to go through our playoff predictions, of course, and when we do those, I think we're going to have a tough time with some of these predictions. There's a lot of good games, a lot of tight games that we could call in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had not heard that stat. That's hard to believe. Just like the other oddity we had this weekend, which we'll probably talk about, which is two teams playing a game sort of representing other teams while they were playing for who gets in and who doesn't get in the playoff. That was kind of goofy, but also kind of fun.
Yeah, this week's slate of games is pretty good. I mean, at least on paper. So I know we'll get into predictions and stuff. And we were just talking about it before we came on. And but at one point, watching the Giants at 1:00, even again, and we'll talk about what that win means and draft shit and all that stuff. But I just said at one point, I'm like, my God, is this like just absolute boring football, painful football to watch? Meanwhile, since when is Daniel Bellinger running around for 35 yards with from in the open field? It's maddening that this team wins back-to-back weeks at the end of the season. We'll get into that too, but and then the Jets. My God, I'll let Novak run rampant with the Jets there.
Gunnar Olszewski going for over 100 yards.
Gunnar,
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a rant later when it gets to me, but my God, I mean, you had 3 great games and everything else was just garbage. I mean, what a horrible slew of games aside from the 3 that actually meant something. I'm so glad this regular season is over, and we'll get to our Jets and Giants in a minute, but good God.
Yeah, probably something to talk about probably is, I know we've talked about it every year since we've had it. Do we really need 17 of these things?
No.
What went on
genie's
this
out
weekend?
Of the bottle.
Yeah, I think it is. I know.
Yeah. By the way, Mike, I'm loving the lights on your headphones every time you talk. It's like going from blue to red to yellow. I don't know what's going on there.
I just downloaded the software right before we got online where I can turn that off, but I haven't had time to.
No, leave it on. It's fantastic.
Leave it on, man.
I want to make a correlation to
some kind
anger.
It's a some kind of Star Wars character or something here.
And you realize, Mike, in like 4 years, you're going to be like, what are we doing with 18 of these?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's coming.
Seriously. It's coming. It's guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know
that's coming.
So before we get into everything, let me give a shout out. And another small town. We must be on the Small Town Express here. So hello, Dafuski Island, South Carolina.
Oh.
Yes. Population 557, and this is a cool place. It's accessible only by ferry or by barge. Yep. So if you want to go to Dafuski, you actually have to park in an area, get your cooler with all your stuff in it for the week, put it on a barge or a ferry. They'll ferry you over. You go to your place. There's golf carts that take you to your house. There's not a whole lot on the island, so sometimes you have to actually go back off the island to get your, if you want to refill beer, food, whatever. But it is it's a private island located near Hilton Head. Yep. Spanish explorers brought their Iberian horses there to the island, and they're now known as Carolina Marsh Tacky. And the main industry there is oyster harvesting, and John Cougar Mellencamp has a beach house there.
Is that right?
Yeah, look at that. On Dafuski Island.
I was just in Hilton Head like a few days ago. Maybe someone saw me and was like, "Hey, that's Novak from the Three Angry Giant Fans of Jet Fan Podcast," and they downloaded the fucking thing.
I think that's what happened.
I think that's what it was.
Dude, I joke around all the time, but like we're mini celebrities, man. I mean, we're getting recognized in public.
Yeah, so
That's
if you guys
awesome.
haven't been to Defusky, I want to go, but I don't because it's a hassle to have to pull out all your stuff in a car, leave your car at like a landing, get on a ferry, bring it over, and then have to do all that, like stuff during the week. Like we go, we're going for a week. We're cooking. We're going out to eat every now and then. That's but
The other
it's
place
a
like
thing.
that, you guys ever been to Bald Head Island?
Yeah.
Bald
It's like
Head,
near,
yeah, same thing. Yeah,
by
I was
Southport.
actually
Yeah,
going to mention that. Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, I've been to Bald Head once for long years ago for a wedding, which was actually a great time. But same thing. You gotta park your car on the mainland, take this ferry over. It's like just build a fucking bridge. It's like it's
Yeah, because if you go to Curry Beach, like
yeah,
you have a period there where like you could see Bald Head Island, but you can't get there unless you take the ferry. You're like,
that's right.
fuck, it's right. It's right there.
It's right there. Ah,
Yeah. I mean, I would go, I guess, if there was more to do there. I don't like the idea of, we got to get on the ferry, go back over to the mainland to eat or do anything.
There
I
are
don't
a
know, my-
couple, there's some restaurants and there's like a convenience store there where you can buy stuff, but it's not. Maybe the amount of restaurants at the Fusky Islands probably 3. So
There's a bloody point in there on Defusky Island. Bloody Point. There's a Bloody Point cemetery and a Bloody Point lighthouse. I'm curious about. I'll have to do a little research.
sounds frightening.
Maybe the lighthouse wasn't working one time, and that's what made it Bloody Point. So,
So we had the Giants Cowboys game. Giants again ended the season on a 2-win streak. So, I mean, I honestly, after watching them win against Vegas, I'm fine that they beat the Cowboys. Tracy had a great game. Okereke, the last 2 weeks, was a monster. Gunnar Olszewski, like I said before, had over 100 yards. And I keep going back to the same thing we've talked about the last 2 podcasts. If this happened, what the fuck happened versus Minnesota? Were we trying to tank and took the ball out of Dart's hands and then all of a sudden decide, well, you know what, we're going to let him play? Because he played well in this game. He played well against the Raiders. We are going to pick 5th in the draft, and Joe Shane is returning, which we were going to have a discussion about. Because Joe Shane returning, here's what I have a problem with. They talked about in the beginning of the year. Mara said, we're going to hold everyone responsible. We expect a winning season. And the winning season didn't come. They fired Dable, and yet they're retaining Shane. And think about this with Shane. They talked about there being a lot of talent still around, on the young talent on the roster. Well, you also have young talent in Deontay Banks and Jalen Hyatt, who are basically wasted draft picks, who have taken up space on this roster for the last, several games without contributing. Well, Banks on a kickoff return, but still, Hyatt's done nothing.
guys, we had all of our receivers out, and Hyatt couldn't get a jersey this week. Couldn't get on the field. I mean, he's gone. If he's not playing on the team this past week, what's he there for? What's he doing?
I won't believe it till I see it. With the Giants, nothing until I see guys are fired, cut. Just I don't believe it until I see it with these guys. Hyatt's a perfect example. How is this guy still on the roster? How is he still in the league? I mean, that's how it. And we just carry around this dead wood, this dead weight. But yeah, Scott, going back to your point, we talked about it last week. Don't know what the hell the Minnesota Viking game was. And then we rise up the Raiders. I'm freaking furious with them because I don't care. Listen, I didn't see one snap of that game yesterday, but I don't care what went on in that game. All I know is they somehow did enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, who I know were limp dicking their way to the end of the offseason. But nonetheless, and the Raiders still grabbed the number 1 pick. So to your point, Scott, I found myself yesterday like rooting for Dart, rooting for him to have a good game. It's the fucking Cowboys, so you want to beat them. I don't care what. Yeah, it's just so hard to root against the Giants in that particular game. Last week, the Raider game was really the one where I was just balls out looking for a loss and securing that 1 spot. So had they done that, then yesterday I would have said, yeah, absolutely lose yesterday as well. The fact that didn't matter We end up picking fifth. We'll talk about that, but fifth actually isn't that bad considering that we could have dropped, I think, all the way to seventh, maybe even eighth. I think had some other things fallen against us. But I'm just glad the season's over, man. Just pissed off and furious. I don't know how much we're going to talk about Shane staying on, but like that, I don't even know. I almost don't know how to even react to that, guys. I really don't.
Well,
I'm just furious.
They put out a note this week, and everyone knows that John Mara's battling cancer, and the rumor is that they don't want to make a move because he's not doing well. But here's the thing: at the beginning of the year, they mentioned holding people accountable, wanting to make sure that everyone was doing well. We didn't have a good season. They said they're brutally, disappointed in the season, but we have a lot of young talent, so we're going to keep Shane. Is what the rationale is, and Novak has brought it up numerous times about, what coach is going to come and work for Shane. I don't know what that deterrent is. I really don't. But what I know is that you look at a team that had a bad season and you fired your coach, and yet you retained your GM, a GM that has Jalen Hyatt on the roster, Deontay Banks on the roster, let little Jordan Humphrey go, kept a kicking situation on that really screwed us, keeps a punter that is useless. I mean, there's a lot of roster management moves there.
You had a 3-year deal with Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
That should be fireable offense enough. And I'm stepping on what Cardone has been screaming about for 4 years. Who looks at this team and says, Darius Slayton deserves a 3-year contract? I mean, come on. What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's maddening is right.
And it makes that particular contract really makes absolutely no sense. Darius Slayton is still the guy is at
he can't
best
catch.
Can't catch, can't get separation, can't run routes.
When he pushes off.
Yeah, he's another OPI for a touchdown yesterday. But I don't know, man. There's got, I think we saw a lot of, stats and things come out in the last week. I think I have a few of them. One of my favorite ones was that the Atlanta Falcons, who ended the season on a 4-game winning streak, right? Ended up 8-9, missed the playoffs. Okay. They fired Raheem Morris, and also they fired their GM. I don't have the guy's name in front of me right now, but Joe Shane, my favorite statistic, Shane would have to go 15-2 in his next 17 games to match that guy's record. And Atlanta's having no problem kicking his ass out of the stadium. But we hang on. But we can't get rid of Joe Shane. We can't seem to separate ourselves from this fucking loser. I understand the thing with the talent and building, like he's brought in. He's had some good picks, for sure. But
he's had some bad picks.
He's had some terrible picks as well. And we need to you got to look at the whole body of work. And this is a win-only business. This is the National Football League where all they talk about is what's your win-loss record, and we are not getting it done under this regime, this general management. So he's just there's got to be a better GM out there, someone with more vision, better gut instincts, all of it than Joe Shane. I got nothing against Shane. I obviously don't know the guy personally, but he should not be our GM anymore.
I mean, in the Giants' defense, he has good hair and he does have a backpack. So, I mean,
yeah.
So that must mean he's a smart guy, right?
You would think.
It's just the fact that this guy is going to get another chance makes no fucking sense in the world. I'm not even a Giants fan, and I'm angry about this.
Think about the guys he's gotten rid of who have gone to other teams and done really well. You could talk about Xavier McKinney. You could talk about Barkley. You could talk about
Julian Love, even Seattle. Yes. I mean,
and then he replaces them with Javon Holland, who sucks. And they gave him more money than they would have given McKinney.
Yep.
He's not even half the player he is. I mean, come on. The talent evaluation in this team is laughable. Yes, you've got a good young core, but honestly, the 4 of us would have drafted Neighbors. The 4 of us would have drafted Carter. The 4 of us would have drafted Dart.
Yep.
Like, it's not that hard. It's not.
It's not.
Yeah.
Woof. I do have a theory on the Minnesota game. That was.
Bring it.
Bring us back to the Minnesota.
Well, that's how it started. Then you guys just went off the rails on Shane right there. I had to hold on to it.
I'm just angry tonight altogether.
Remember how we kind of talked about last week that there's different levels of tanking and comes from the ownership, sometimes the coaches. I believe Mike Kafka did try to tank that game. And I believe John Mara went into his office either that night or the next day and said, hey, we just don't do that. Like, don't.
Yeah.
We try to win football games.
But you think about that game
It's
against
really the
Minnesota,
only explanation.
We took the ball out of Dart's hands. In the final 2 games, he ended up with over 200 yards in both those games. And in that game, he threw for his lowest amount that he had throughout the season by far. And not only that, they didn't even let him throw the ball. And I know Minnesota has a good defense, but it's one of those things where you're not even trying to push the ball downfield.
Yeah, no, it will be the lowest yards passing total of Jackson Dart's career. No matter how long it lasts, that game will be the lowest passing yards in a game where he plays and starts the whole game, starts and plays the whole game. And it will be. And it was extremely intentional. And, as Cardone likes to say, sometimes we watch these games and we're like, what is the game plan? I'm not even saying it's a good one or bad one. I just don't know what it is. In that game, it was very clear that the game plan was to take the ball out of your best player's hands. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we go and win the last 2 games, which means that in the last several years, our winning percentage in the last 2 games is much better than our winning percentage elsewhere.
There's a lot of factors there. Clearly, most of them are that we're playing division games against teams who are either already done or already locked up. That's what a lot of that is. And the other thing, is look how this season ends. Right. Yeah, we played Dallas last week, and I imagine the schedule makers thought Dallas would be pretty good. But Minnesota, Oakland, yeah, you know what I mean? The Raiders, like the NFL front loads our schedule, and it's been that way for a long time. Why didn't we have the Raiders week 2?
Yeah.
We never get cupcakes in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season. We're on the road against teams that were in the playoffs last year.
If you remember, we opened up the season 2 road divisional games. Who does that?
Right.
Remember we were talking about that in September?
Yep.
Yeah.
2 road divisional games. One of them we should have won. We were a 64-yard field goal away from winning week 2, but season's over now, man. Another disaster. We'll talk about where we're going to go next and all that, but I don't know, man. It's hard to be positive. It's hard to even be optimistic. Especially going into this year, a little disappointment. I mean, the Giants seem like they remember they had a great preseason. There was a lot of excitement. Who knew that Dable wouldn't last until like halfway through the season? And for this season to go where it did, if they hang on and beat Denver and go, I think they would have been 3-4. They had Denver absolutely dead. You know what's amazing about that too?
Right,
Denver doesn't get the
Philly,
1 seed.
Right?
What's that, Scott?
Right after they beat Philly, right? The Denver game was the next week.
They beat Philly. We were riding high. They got out to that huge lead in Denver. It inexplicably lost that unbelievable game. Who knows what happens to, like, what I always think about, we don't think about the opposite team. What happens? I wonder where Denver's season goes from there. Losing to the Giants at home there. Think about that.
Bad. Yeah.
Right? They're sitting there as a fucking 1 seed right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things like that. It's always there, and people don't take it into consideration. The schedule is a huge part of a team season.
Yeah.
When you play teams, what week, who's injured when you play them, all that is massive. And, it doesn't get talked about because it's boring. No one wants to admit that, maybe the Giants could have been a lot different. I contend that if Aubrey misses that field goal in week 2, and the funny thing I heard today, which kind of drove me mad about the Denver game, was that, they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, which kind of makes people think they were down by 32, which was not the case. Our biggest lead was 18. We kept scoring 2 while our defense was, and that's just a weird game.
Yeah.
But had Aubrey missed that kick and we hold on and beat Denver, I believe the New York Giants are in the playoffs this week. And
who knows?
Denver is probably in the playoffs too. But who knows how things could have played out? Psyche and mentality, people like to blow it off. it means something. It is hard to get up and play games when you're 0-5 and you go, and even if you win that game, you think, great, we're 1-5. Mm-hmm. It's such a huge hill mentally to climb. It means something.
Yeah. If it were the Ravens or the Chiefs, I know the announcer would be like, "These guys are on a roll now. They're going to be going to the playoffs." So,
I mean,
go ahead.
I'll just say the Giants season was one of the most bizarre
that
I can
ever
remember. To go just awful in the first few games, to plugging in a rookie quarterback, to we're back, we're in it, we have a new ray of light, and then just blowing leads, coach fired. Like, it's the most bizarre season I can remember in a long time. Yeah. When you really think about how it started to how it went up to, you were going to make the playoffs easy for like a night there. Yeah. Ripping shirts off. You know, we're fired up. The Giants are back, to just crap again. It's just unbelievable.
Same place.
No, that's a good point, and I'll even mention this because we'll wrap off the Giants thing and talk about the Jets. The Jets, and I know, Novak, you're going to have some rants here, but the Jets here, I mean, there is no team in the history of the NFL that went 16 games without a receiver getting 400 yards. The Jets did that. And then the Jets 17. Will be the first team in NFL history. Yeah, 17 games. Jets will be the first team in NFL history to lose 5 straight games by 23 points or more, ever. And then the third part, no interceptions. I mean, this is a team, and they're going to retain their coach probably. You talked about that last week, how it's not fair that we fire him. There's 3 horrible stats. I mean, we talk about our teams all the time having stats that are ridiculous. Not having a single interception a season, even by chance, is almost unimaginable.
I'm going to go on a rant. I have had enough. I've had enough. 16 years. 16 years. I'm watching other teams go in the playoffs, and I'm sitting here the day after the season ends as a loser again. This is my identity, this fucking team. This is what people know me as. I'm at a conference, a college president comes up to me and says, I hear the Jets stink again. They don't even know anything about football. I am associated with these losers. And they asked Aaron Glenn after the game yesterday, the press conference, are you embarrassed? And he was like, I don't know that I'm embarrassed. I'm really angry. Embarrassed? You should be embarrassed. This team is a laughingstock again and again and again, every year. And he said, don't let go of the rope. Don't let go of the rope. The rope is because every champion wants to hang themselves. This team is just doing this to us. I mean, listen to these stats. 57 years without a Super Bowl, 23 years without a home playoff game, 16 years without a playoff game, 11 years without a winning season. First team in New York and NFL history with no interceptions. First team in NFL history to lose 5 games by more than 23 points in a row. First team in NFL history with only 4 turnovers in a season. 6-24 against our division opponents in the last 5 years. Trailed by double digits for 53% of the season. Double digits. We were down by more than half of the season of the snaps that we had. First team in NFL history to not have a receiver with 400 yards. Our top receiver last caught a ball on October 12th, 3 months ago. Guys, our team MVP that we announced this week was our kick returner who we cut in week 2 for fumbling. And on top of it, we kicked Sam Darnold to the curb for Zach Wilson. We kicked Aaron Rodgers to the curb for Justin Fields. This team, I'm so tired of being associated with this team. My last 3 Christmas gifts from my family was 3 years ago I had a mug, JETS, Just End the Suffering. 2 years ago, a t-shirt that said, this team makes me drink. And this year, I get a mug with the famous play of the Jets, the butt fumble. My own family is mocking me. I'm so sick of this team. And so, yes, AG, I'm embarrassed. and you should be embarrassed. And anyone associated with this godforsaken franchise should be embarrassed as hell. I'm tired of it. Thank God I'm not home right now because I'm yelling. Enough. Get me to the playoffs. Win something. Tired of it.
This is awesome. Wait, 23. I was keeping mental notes there. 23 years since the last home playoff game. Was that what that was?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was a giant stadium. It wasn't even at MetDeath. 23 years since we had a home playoff
Giant
game.
stadium. Wait a minute. Go back to your team MVP.
Yeah.
How did the guy
Trevor
get
Turner.
cut in week 2? He's a team MVP.
We cut him for fumbling issues in week 2. We brought him back in week 5, and he's our team MVP.
That's the best one. That's awesome.
Name another sports organization where this happens. These losers. And he's not embarrassed. You should be embarrassed. AG. Get out of here. Fucking loser. Tired of it. I want to win.
Win shit. I just want to be relevant. I want to be in the league. I always make the joke around my house that like there's all kinds of buzz and talk about. It's so fun in my household this weekend. There's like, ooh, what's the seedings and what time are we playing and you know, should we rest players, should we not? And I just sit there like with a thumb up my ass thinking like I'm not even in the league. I can't even like participate in a conversation in my living room.
No. You guys we've been out of this for 3 months.
Yep.
3 months we have to watch
3 months.
these losers. And I'm worse off than you. 3-14, number 2 pick again. God. I don't want to talk about the game. I don't care. They suck. It was embarrassing. They're getting just mocked by the Bills fans are cheering about the closing of the Highmark Stadium in the first quarter.
The one I love the interception one because how is there not just a tip ball somewhere that just falls in a Jets' hands? You know what I mean? Like something.
Like not having a single interception, it like seems unconscionable. Like there's no way you can't get one.
No, you
tell me about how is that possible?
It's impossible. You can't put that all on the Jets because there's a large portion of just really bad luck there.
But that's like someone saying you didn't get a single fumble the entire season. You know, it's like how does that not happen?
I mean, a quarterback just makes a bad throw. It doesn't happen. Right. 17 games, guys.
Yeah.
So
just a defender tips it, you know, and it's up in the
end of the half, Hail Mary that gets picked off. Something.
Yes. How come there not be one of those?
Scott sent this out on our thread yesterday, but I saw the graphic during, I forget which game it was, late in the day, Scott. So you must have taken a screenshot of it or something, or just took a pic of it.
Oh, the receiver? Yeah.
The who am I graphic. And the record, 14-3 record, 3,674 passing yards, 36-0 passing touchdowns to interceptions. Finally, a 110.9 passer rating. Who am I? Every fucking quarterback against the Jets this season.
Oh my God.
I mean,
oh my God.
We have had, and one other thing, we have had teams have a decade of success, rebuild, and have 5 years of success since we've even been in the playoffs. Think about that.
Yeah.
Teams just have, they're good and then they're bad and then they're good again before we've ever been good.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't take it anymore. I'm so over it. I've had enough. And the sad thing is, you know this, and you know this about me. Week 1, I'll be there with my green and white on, thinking that things are going to change, and it'll happen again.
We all will be.
Well, I know we'll get into the around the league here in just a second, but you know, Novak, here's the thing too. Like all of our teams have been really bad. And we know that. And there's people that will sit there and they will mock us and they'll mock everything else about us. And that you go out and you see them and teams that try to tank, they don't do any better. So like the Raiders, the Browns, the Cardinals, these teams that have been in the bottom for a while, they stay in the bottom. Our teams don't try to tank. And we still stay in the bottom. So that's what's frustrating to me. It's like, you know, I think about this, not just, I was angry about the Raiders game last week, but then I thought about other teams. And I said, you know, like, look at the Eagles. They didn't play their starters in a game that actually mattered to them. They lost playoff seeding because they didn't play their starters.
I don't remember. I don't remember what that's like. I don't know that I ever experienced that. Like,
and they still almost
feeling?
won. They weren't even trying, and they almost got the 2 seed.
Right? Like, can you imagine playing week 17? Like, we don't need to win. We're already good. We're good. We're fine. Are you kidding me?
No.
So when you look around the league, there was a lot of stuff that went on. And I have to bring this up. You know, you guys know I rail on the officials, and the Panthers Buck game that happened. The Bucks ended up winning. The officiating in that game was horrendous. It was so biased against the Panthers. And you know, the Panthers won that division because the Falcons beat the Saints in the end, and the Falcons, Bucks, and Panthers all finished 8-9. So there's another team with an 8-9 record. We'll talk about this a little bit later because we have a question about it. But look, you guys know I don't like the Panthers at all, and yet they got really screwed in that game. There were like 3 to 4 calls that were just so blatantly against them, and there was like no reason given. One game or one call, they actually called a ball going out of bounds that was sent to Rico Dowdell, that he caught the ball. He's standing there with the ball in the field of play, and yet they said ball was out of bounds, out of play, play over.
That cost them 6 yards on that play, and it killed that drive. They were like near midfield. Yeah. That was the one that was that cracked me up the most, was that the official just came on, not even realizing, I think, what happened. The play was dead. The side judge came over with he came over with the incomplete pass, and
that's why Dowdell couldn't advance the ball. He had a ton of room to run.
So if he doesn't pick that ball up, or if it doesn't end up and one of the Bucks picks, I guess it's a fumble going the other way. I mean, that was insane.
It would have been interesting to see what happened if there was a clear Buccaneer recovery on that.
Oh, they would have called Buccaneer ball.
There was a clear Panther recovery on it, and they still could have said that and had the play go for -6 yards because Dowdell didn't do anything with the ball. Like, you know, because if not to his fault, the officials were blowing the whistle and waving their hands. It's once that call is made on the field, you can't win.
Right.
If you're the Panthers, there's nothing you could have done differently to make that play go your way. You're just jacked right from the start. And because if they didn't blow the whistle, you know, it's one of those where maybe Dowdell's looking around at the officials, like waiting for the whistle, and he starts to run up the sideline. I don't know. And then to Scott's point, their explanation always makes it worse, right, guys? It never makes it better. You know, the ruling on the field was a backwards pass that went out of bounds. But no, it didn't. It didn't go anywhere near out of bounds.
I mean, it is so clear the NFL wanted the Bucks to win because it made that Saints Falcons game mean something, right? Because if the Panthers win, it's over. Yeah. And I watched that Saints-Falcons game because of that. If they had to explain one more time the implications of who won what, and just put it at the bottom of the screen. You know, Falcons win, Panthers in. Saints win, Bucks in. That's all you need to do. They said it incessantly for 3 hours.
Well, you had that Bucks game, the Bucks, Panther game. And you had the Seattle-San Francisco game, which, by the way, Saleh was featured on every other play in that game, and the 49ers still lost convincingly.
As you guys could tell, I was playing Saleh by myself at home. I had the home game version.
I had people texting me going, Saleh, I'm drunk. And I was like, yes, because if you're playing Saleh, you're going to be, we introduced a new Saleh aspect. The split screen Saleh. I don't know if you guys saw that. Split screen Saleh was on twice.
Split screen extended.
Yeah. I mean, that game was, that can we believe that the Seahawks are the best team in the NFL?
They are pretty freaking damn good, man.
They are well-rounded, right? I mean, every aspect of that team is solid, from the running game to the passing game to their defense to the coaching, special teams. Like, they are. Yeah. I cannot believe it.
Here's where I think we're going to have a a divergence here is that I think in the playoffs when we do the predictions, like the Seattle Seahawks are there. Do we trust Darnold?
No.
And so do we have the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl or do we have them losing? Like a team like the 49ers is great, but the 49ers do the 49ers play the Eagles?
Yes.
Yes. That game in my mind is a huge game.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of games like this first weekend that you're like, I have no idea who's going to win. I don't think there's a single gimme in the games that
there
are
is.
out there.
The Panther Rams game is the one game that's a gimme.
Well, it can be, but the Rams are playing not at home, So I mean,
I think the Panthers are going to get their doors blown off. But you're right. I mean, every game is competitive, unlike every other super wild card weekend.
Yeah.
Every game is a toss up in my
Well,
mind. I
and
totally
Vegas
agree.
agrees because when you look at the point spreads, there's always like those games that are, there's a touchdown favorite by, and now the Rams are actually giving 10, which I think is kind of high actually.
I agree
think
with you on that.
10 seems like a lot on the road. And, all the other games are point and a half, 3.5, 3. Philly's actually favored by 4.5 over the Niners. That's gone up, I think, since it opened yesterday at 3.5, I believe. But yeah, man, there's a lot of these should be pretty, closely contested games. You would think, at least, like again on paper, it looks that way. And yeah, when I was looking at my picks earlier, just on my as I was going through them, I had trouble circling which team I was going to go with. So I'm curious to hear what you guys are thinking.
well,
I mean, this is the weekend that I will write down and keep it in front of me the point spreads for these games because I am very curious to see.
Yeah.
The Rams, let's say the Rams Panther game, right? It's late fourth quarter. The Rams are up 16 and the point spread's 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what happens at the end of that game if they let the Panthers get a touchdown. Like things like that. This is the weekend that we need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talk about that and we had the opening scene was Tyler Loop missing the field goal for the Ravens. So there were two games that really mattered in this week. It was the Panthers Bucks and it was the Steelers Ravens. And the Dick pulled it out. The Steelers won. Really really good game actually to watch from a fan standpoint. And we get more Dick. So, more Dick is good. But guys, I mean Tyler Loop missing the field goal after Boswell misses an extra point. You couldn't have scripted it any better. And of course, Rodgers is on the sidelines. Like you knew he was about to throw Boswell and everyone else under the bus if that game had gone the opposite way. He already had that look. And of course, the cameras as the kick is going up is centered on Rodgers, not on fucking anyone else. Rodgers was the main guy they were all focusing on.
Yeah, there's just like Salah, there's Dick Cam, so they got to get his reaction to everything. But yeah, that was a weird game because I'm not a fan of the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, I've never really been that big a supporter of. I mean, mostly because it's media driven, how I feel about that. It's just those certain guys that don't win anything and when it, and when it really matters. And Jackson's one of those guys. So I watched that game with, like sort of like, I'm okay. Like somebody has to lose. You know what I mean? So I don't think the Dick and the Steelers are going to go that deep into playoffs. I was a little bit more concerned about Baltimore making a run had they gotten in because I don't want to see them get, advance too much either. So the fact that, Pittsburgh ended up winning that game, I found myself feeling better about that than had Baltimore, gone on to the playoffs. So although I was thinking also, the idea that Tomlin could be on the hot seat had they lost and missing the playoffs, then, would Tomlin be, would he be available out there? Just again, thinking, Giants, who knows, right? I never saw Tomlin coming to the Giants, but at least there was a fraction in my head that was thinking, well, shit, if they lose that game and they miss the playoffs, does Tomlin get fired? So I had that also as a kind of a footnote watching that game also last night, which one of my pet peeve is around the end of that game. So I'll explain that when we get to the peeves.
Yeah. So speaking of the firings though, so Stefanski from the Browns was fired. Raheem Morris from the Falcons was fired. They're keeping Steichen at the Colts. Uh,
Jonathan Gannon was fired.
Gannon was fired from the Arizona Cardinals. So there are a ton of openings that are coming up.
Did you mention Carroll? Did you already? Did I miss that?
Carroll
Pete
from
Carroll, yeah.
from the Vegas Raiders. Yeah, he's gone too, and I think Mike called it too. Mike said Carroll was never on board with the tanking, and that might be part of the reason why he's gone. So we have a lot of candidates out there. There's probably going to be at least 2 more that are going to be out there by the end of the cycle. The Giants might go for Stefanski, and I'll tell you what, if they go for Stefanski, we might have a DC in Jim Schwartz, who, we've always talked about Jim Schwartz on this pod. we've seen some video of him getting his ass handed to him by Harbaugh with the we watched that quite a bit, but we'll see what happens. But it will be interesting to see what the cycle, where the coaching carousel goes. And like we mentioned before, Super Wild Card Weekend is this weekend. So, guys, I don't know what will happen when teams will actually start locking in their coaches. You can do it now because these guys are done from the team. So there's the NFL is saying you can go and make decisions now.
Well, you got to do the Rooney Rule first, obviously.
You do, yes, you do.
Which does delay everything. But Stefanski would be, I think, would be a home run for the Giants. That's exactly the kind of guy that you should be getting.
The only thing
he won Coach of the Year twice with a worse organization than the Jets or the Giants.
Yeah, the only thing that I have a red flag on with Stefanski, and it's not a big one. It's just one of those where they were a playoff team. Then they weren't, and he couldn't get them back there. And I understand why he can't, because they have an ownership team that's probably one of the worst in the leagues. But Stefanski himself is a good coach.
They handed him Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
I don't believe that. I think if you're a good coach, you're a good coach, and if you've proven you could run the gauntlet and do it, I'll say at least twice. I guess anyone could get lucky, but and I think Stefanski is just a good coach, and I think. Much like I think I know why Pete Carroll's gone. I think I know why Stefanski's gone. It's because I don't think he wanted anything to do with Sanders. I think he made that very clear.
Totally agree.
I think he kept him on the bench, maybe to his own fault, because it's clear to me, and you guys know how I feel about Sanders. I think he's the best quarterback on their roster. Now, it says more about their roster than it says about Sanders to me, but that it took him so long to finally get Sanders in there and then have Sanders win a couple games and not look like a complete disaster. She hasn't looked great by any means. I mean, I know there's people trying to pump him up, and he ain't that good. But I think that sort of his resistance to Sanders and then eventually having to bring Sanders in and win some games and look okay is probably what ends up getting him fired at the end of the day. But
do you remember the run he went on with Joe Flacco 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. Joe Flacco. That team, if you remember back to those playoffs, was the hottest team in the NFL.
Yep.
With Joe friggin' Flacco. And that not a lot else around him. I think Stefanski should be your number one target.
I agree. I think he should be.
Yeah. And if he comes, we might get Jim Schwartz.
The Schwartz be with
which I don't mind as a DC. Jim Schwartz is a proven defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. I looked Stefanski. Like you just mentioned Novak before. Yeah, twice Coach of the Year. Led the Browns to the playoffs in 2020 and 23. Winning the wild card round in 2020 against the Steelers. So, I would love to see. Stefanski on the Giants sidelines. I think he would be the right man, I think, for this job. I didn't realize he was at Cleveland for 6 years. I mean, the years just fly by in the NFL. Yeah. I thought maybe it was 4 years or maybe even, I wasn't sure. And then I looked up, I'm like, holy shit, he was there 6 years. Just didn't realize.
6 years.
Yeah.
And he's only 11 games under 500 with the Cleveland Browns.
With the Browns.
That's
He won 5 games with them this year, and that team is awful.
They stink.
He has two 11-win seasons with the Browns in that span.
Yeah.
There's, by the way, Two teams that had 3 wins that won their last 2 games: the Giants and the Browns. So,
Losers all.
so Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think we're restarting everything, but there's playoff predictions on board here.
Yeah, I'll recap what happened last week, and then but that won't mean anything. It's just kind of was fun, right? So we had a 1 week season, and we'll jump into the playoffs. So I'll start at the bottom. Novak picked the Giants, so he got a win there, and he picked the Jets 7-6, if you recall, which was fun. And then he picked Kansas City as his lock, which Kansas City was more interested in laying down than the Raiders were. So Novak was 1-3.
Awful.
I also picked the Giants, and I picked Buffalo, so that gives me a good start at 2-0. However, I picked Philadelphia as my lock. So I go 2-2 for the week. Scott Koss picked Dallas and Buffalo, so he goes 1-1. Also picked Buffalo for his lock, so that puts him at 3-1 for the week, our current leader. Cardone picked Dallas and Buffalo to go 1-1, and he picked Jacksonville as his lock.
Cardone just crushed it this year.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, that's obvious what happened right there. So in our 1 week season, it kind of mirrored the regular season. Cardone and Cost went 3-1. Mike went 2-2, and Novak went 1-3. I mean, that kind of mirrors our regular season.
Loser all around.
I
should have known the Giants would win. That was bad on my part, picking Dallas to win that. But
my friend Kevin was like sort of tooling on Mike. He's like, so he lost all of the records during the drunk week. I was like, I think so. That's what happened.
I could have put it back together if I felt like it. I could have figured it out if I'd felt like it. All right, so let me get to ESPN here.
We're doing rapid fire with this. There's a lot of games. Just gonna do quick picks, or what are we doing?
Yeah. Let's just do the quick picks.
Not a lot of breakdown, right? Just
not a lot of breakdown. Just maybe a sentence, and then do we want to score? I guess we don't really need a score, right? NFL.
Do we do scores or just pick winner?
You do a score that'll pick.
I mean, just throw it out there. It takes a second. I don't know. I wrote down scores.
A quick score. Yep.
I was going to say my scores. So.
We will start with Novak, and we will start in the AFC with the 4-5 game, the Steelers at the Texans.
I think this is fairly simple pick. I like the Texans here a lot. I'm going to take them with that defense, 24-15 over the Steelers.
24-15. All right. Do we want to do one person through or get everyone's take on that game?
Let's go each game.
Each game. Okay. Then I'll go next. I agree with Novak. I think the Texans could shut out the Steelers actually, but I will say 24-3.
I think the Texans I think the Steelers could put up a fight, but I'm going to take the Texans, and it's going to be closer than I think people think. 17-13.
17-13.
Sounds like a clean sweep. I have a close game too, but Houston's defense. Plus, I don't want to see more Dick after this weekend, so I've got Houston 20-17.
All right, 2017. All right, we'll go to the 3-6 games. The Jags at the Bills.
Nope, Bills at the Jags, right?
Bills at Jags.
Bills at Jags. Yep. Sorry. I got
Who's
that
up?
Upside down. Novak's up.
All right, I'm up. This one's going to be real close. This was the one that I had the hardest time picking. However, I'm going to take experience over the upstart team, and I'm going to take the Bills here in a great game, 23-21.
All right, I'll go next. I also think this is going to be a great game, probably the game of the week, but I'm siding with Novak here. I think Buffalo's going to hold on in this one, but I'm looking for more score. I'm going to say Buffalo wins 38-35 with a walk-off.
Exciting one.
Cost.
I don't think this will be a great game. I think the Bills will win 30-10.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Once again, I've got the road team also. I've got, Buffalo was I hate to say this because Buffalo was my preseason Super Bowl pick. So they're there. They're only a 6 seed. Thought they were going to win division, but they don't go out in the first round. I think they do beat the Jags 27-19 Buffalo.
All right. And the last of Super Wild Card weekend out of the AFC is a 2-7 matchup with the Chargers at the Chiefs. The clip.
Chargers
Sorry.
Patriots.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, God, I'm so used to saying Chiefs. Chargers Pats. Novak.
I really want to pick an upset on this one, but I can't. And I just think Vrabel is the best coach in the league. So I think the Pats are going to win this one, although I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. I like the Pats here 27-20 over the Chargers.
I agree with everything Novak just said. Once again, I don't think they lose here, but I think they're going to fall short of a Super Bowl run this year. But I do have them winning this game 21-10.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me because I almost want to pick the Chargers, but then I realized that Justin Herbert does not do well in the postseason either. So I'm taking the Patriots 24-17, and much like you guys, I think I will pick the Patriots to lose next week.
Cardone.
We're all on the same wavelength here. I've got there's no way the Clip and Herbert are traveling all the way across the country and winning there. I've got New England 24-20. Herbert remains winless in the postseason. Right? I don't think he's won a playoff game.
He's not.
No.
Nope.
He's had a gigantic lead in one, but he has lost that. All right. So let's flip it over to the NFC. For the NFC, we'll go the other way. We'll start with Cardone.
All right.
And let's see. Get this filled in. And we will start with the 4-5, Cardone. So we got the Rams at the Panthers.
So much like we've been talking about already, I think the Rams win this game going away. Not a total blowout, but I think they do score late, makes it look like a blowout. That's one of those games where, if you remember, Carolina won a very exciting game here in Charlotte not too long ago. And this time around, it's the other way around. Rams 30-17.
Like a mini goose.
Yeah, mini goose.
We'll get a question about this later about, whether we should reseed teams based on where they finish. So I'm taking the Rams too. And I think the Rams are going to win going away 35-10. Puka is going to have a huge game.
You guys might laugh at this, but I'm being serious. I'm not trying to make a joke here. The loudest football game I've ever been to was a playoff game in Panther Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They can bring it if they need to down there. And I think they're going to bring it. And I think they're going to hang around. I think this thing they get dog walked at the end. But I think the Panthers are going to hang around, maybe even like through the third quarter. But eventually they're going to give way. And I think I got like 37-24 for the Rams.
Mike, I have to say this. So Cardone and I were at the Giants-Vikings playoff game.
Yes.
The championship game. That was really loud. Outside of that, there was also the Giants-Redskins championship game in 86, I think,
86.
Which was extremely loud too, extremely cold. I can't imagine anything though at Carolina Stadium being close to that.
I was shocked. It was the Dallas Carolina playoff game from a long time ago.
Oh, I remember that.
And that place was electric. It was the last ride of the triplets, man. Michael Irvin got carried off in a stretcher. I mean, it was electric in there. It was awesome.
Carolina's like second year, right? In the league. Or isn't it like 96? Yeah. I wasn't even living here yet. Yep.
Don Capers had the comb over.
Yeah. I mean, it was something, man. It was. Yeah, Novak on the Rams Panthers. Yep.
I think this is blowout spot. I think this is the epitome of a team that is just happy to be there. I think this is a blowout, 42-10 Rams.
All right, we'll go to the 3-6 game, which is the 49ers at the Eagles. And we're starting with Cardone.
Yep. This is so I've got this game's at Philly. It's going to be a tough place to win on the road. I think Philly kind of puts it together in this round. San Francisco's defense, Salah, I'm sorry, man. They have not played the best defense. I know they put up a decent one against Seattle, but I like the Eagles here 28-21.
I think Brock Purdy's injured more than they're saying. He got injured in that last game. And so, other than that, I will begrudgingly take the Eagles 27-10.
All right, I'm gonna call the first. I'm gonna be the first one to disagree here on a game. I got the 49ers winning this, and I think it's one of those games where the 49ers jump out, the Eagles fall apart. There's finger pointing. Sirianni's yelling at fans. A.J. Brown leaves early. I think all that shit happens. I got the 49ers winning 35-10.
Love it. I want that to happen.
Well, I'm going to agree with Mike on this one because we can't all pick the same, right? And I think the Eagles are a mirage. I don't like this team. Something's not right with them. I don't like a team after a Super Bowl win. So I'm going to take the 49ers here as well. I'm going to take them 31-20 over the Eagles.
There we go. Now we got some juice in our picks. Now we got some juice.
We got to shake it up a little bit.
And lastly, for Super Wildcard Weekend, we have the Packers at the Bears.
This one, Green Bay. There's something not flowing well with that team either, I think. So Chicago, they seem to win ugly or they seem to win close games, what have you. I think they do it again here. I think they do win by a touchdown. I've got Chicago moving on 23-16.
I'm the opposite here. I think the Bears have been doing it through smoke and mirrors. We saw the Lions beat them. I'm taking the Packers here 20-14.
Back 20-14. So I think this game is going to be nasty. Not nasty in a good way. I just think it's going to be a shitty game with two teams playing shitty football. And the score is going to be close at the end. And the announcers are going to say, what a game. It's going to be one of those games that Scott's love where the announcers are like, what a game. And it's
black
just
and blue division,
mess.
two teams that know each other so well.
Yeah. I got the Bears holding on here, low scoring thing, 17-14.
For me, I think the biggest injury in the league is the Micah Parsons injury. I really do think that is going to affect the Packers more than anybody else. I would have taken the Packers, actually, if Micah Parsons played this game, but he's not. And because of that, I'm going to take the Bears actually going away, surprisingly, 31-14 over the Packers.
We all agree that the Packers are not going to score more than 20.
So
all right, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. The only differences we have are 49ers Eagles, where Novak and Mike are picking the 49ers. We know how Novak and Mike have picked this season, so that's probably a bad thing for the 49er fans out there. And then Cost is an outlier on the Chicago Green Bay game.
So since he may have to drop, I'll start Pet Peeves with Novak.
All right, so I'll make mine quick. My pet peeve, I'm going to start with a pet peeve, and then I'm going to end with actually a kudos to someone. Pet peeve is going to be the horribleness, if that's a word, of announcers, both in the college game and in the NFL. I watch a lot more games than usual this weekend because there was different games that I kind of wanted to check in on, and the pairings of these announcers are just so hard to listen to anymore. Like I wish we had the days back when even the third team was actually you could listen to and actually be okay with the game, making dumb jokes, reminding us like that thing that I said earlier about if the Panthers, if the Falcons win, the Panthers go, and they showing a stupid Charlotte bar with like 5 people. They just show it on every other, score. It was just so bad. The announcing is so terrible that it drives me crazy. And I wish, it's not that hard. Call a game, be good about it. Don't make up dumb jokes. You're not funny. You're not like us. So I have an issue there. And then one of the announcers that I didn't realize how much I liked him until I just found out that he is retiring. And the reason I must have liked him is because he doesn't take over the game. He doesn't try to be funny. He just had a good voice. He called the game, and that's Gary Danielson. And this guy
Gary Danielson's retiring.
He retired, and I watched the last game. I was kind of sad. I'm like, this is the kind of guy that should be calling games. He didn't do anything crazy. He didn't scream like Gus Johnson. He just, great voice, called the game, knows the league, knows the players, knows the teams, and just is not a big part of the game. And we don't have that anymore. And I think that was my pet peeve overall. I'm sad that Gary Danielson's gone because I thought he is one of my favorites, and I didn't even realize it until now that he's gone. So that's my pet peeve.
All right.
It's a good one.
Mike.
Yeah, I got the old potpourri this week. I got a closet I got to clean out here before the playoffs start. So they should be quick, though. First of all, I want to mention that the bar in Charlotte thing, Novak, I had that all queued up on my list here. Did you guys catch
that
how
one too.
hysterical
There's
that
like
was?
15 people.
There's 15 people. It's like a potpourri of jerseys from every
They were
team
like
in the
golf
league.
clapping.
Yeah. They flash over there at key moments, and people, you can see people talking to each other. Cardone, you have to wonder because you can't see the TVs. Are they even on the right channel?
Right.
Like, did they get the Whopper figured out? Yeah. Oh, no. I was dying laughing about that on Sunday. I got a question for you guys, mostly for Cardone and Scott, because it's related to the Giants. But how many concussions has Jackson Dart had?
I think 2.
The answer is 1.
I was going to say 1.
What?
The answer is 1. Okay, people, calm the fuck down.
Yes.
He's not injury prone. He is not Tua Tagliavoa. He had 1 concussion, and because of that, the refs want to get him out of the game into the tent all the time. When he's fighting them and he's fine, that narrative has to stop because it's affecting the Giants on the field. I don't know if you guys were listening to the Giants game with volume anywhere, but Jackson Dart actually told the announcers during the game, would you please just get out there that I've had 1 concussion? So, tell people to calm down. I'm not, I know the people wringing their hands about him sliding. They're right. Most of them are right. And that's correct. He needs to learn to do that, but let's not freak out about Jackson Dart with the head injuries yet. I kind of went into it earlier, but my other one here is these 17 fucking games. I don't even, and people are like, well, look what this did. Look at this games we had week 17 and this and that. Guess what? We had the same fucking things week 16. It's always going to happen on the last game of the season. It doesn't matter how many there are. If there's 14 games, we would have intrigue in the last week of the season. Yeah, first of all, my OCD mind can't get around that you can't be 500. I can't. My brain won't allow me to understand why I can't be 8-8. I would, but Scott joked earlier about going to 18 games. I'm all for it. 18, 16, whatever. Don't leave me 9-8. I need 9-9 or 8-8. I need a 500. There has to be a Mendoza line. There has to be something that I know about. And my last one is, I hope I'm not stepping on Scotty at all with this last one, but how can officials not know the rules on a touchback on a kickoff or on a punt?
Seriously.
I'm sorry, on a punt. How can 2 officials look at each other like neither one of them wanted to make the call? They looked at each other and then they start making the touch, and the other guy follows them and makes the touchback. I'm on my couch. I'm screaming. That's down at the 1. It doesn't. I'm like, and then they just go to commercial and they come back. Oh, they put the ball in the 1 over the commercial break. Literally, we pick on the announcers or the referees. We're probably a little too hard on them. But dudes, you got to know the rules. You got to understand the rules that once that ball is touched, the next place it hits, it's dead. Period. I don't understand how 2 officials, neither one of them knew. They looked at each other and is it? Yeah, touchback. Okay, touchback.
That's the state of the officiating.
I love that too. How they look at each other and do that. The guys underneath the goalposts do that all the time too. They look at each other. It's like, why do you have to look at each other? The one guy that's staying underneath the goalpost should throw his arms up there. Why is the other guy looking at you?
I think they're saying, dude, I didn't see it. Did you see it? Yeah. I think that's what they're saying to each other.
But in basketball, when the officials look at each other in basketball, the ball goes out of bounds. They don't know. They stick the hand out, defer to the other guy. But Mike, I'm glad. One comment on the Dart concussion thing. So I did happen to listen to some of the audio, which is a miracle, with these Giant games, because it's usually Vilma or some other schmuck.
Yeah.
So the Kevin Kugler was the play-by-play schmuck alongside
That's
Daryl
awful.
Moose Johnston, who's actually not that bad. But every time Dart, tucked and ran, he's like, "Oh, someone told Dart how to slide this week. He's been sliding. Dart was every fucking play that Dart. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah,
he was mentioning Dart sliding
yeah.
on every play. I was driving me nuts. I can't stand any of these guys.
By the way, Dart, just for the record, I want this out there. Dart slid twice. He got hit in the head both times he slid.
He did. Yep.
He did.
One of them was uncalled. One with the knee to the head was uncalled, and the other one was blatant bad. But yeah, so that's so much for sliding.
So I also had I think it was a pet peeve that was talking about the officials, and it was the Slayton OPI versus the other wide receivers. And I think it's mostly because Slayton gets called for doing nothing what other offensive wide receivers do. And the worst part was the announcer in that game said, "Well, I played with Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin would push off and he would do it legally." And it's like, how does one push off legally versus illegally? And I always look, I think Slayton lost 3 touchdowns this year to OPIs. And there's clearly someone out there going, this guy pushes off.
Yeah.
No one ever said that about Michael Irvin.
Hell no. And that guy was a push-off
machine. They laughed about it. Every time he did it, they laughed about it.
Michael Irvin did it okay because he didn't extend his arms completely.
Yes.
Based on what I heard.
That's what Moose Johnson taught us during that game. You're correct, Scott, that Michael Irvin's arms were so long that he could push off without fully extending his arms, which, by the way, isn't for some reason a foul. You must fully extend your arm to push off. You can't alligator. If you alligator arm it, it's fine. By the way, Michael Irvin would elbow lock and push defenders in the face when he was a receiver. Don't give me this crap about he never fully extended. I wanted to rip my TV off the wall.
He actually made it seem like Michael Irvin was doing almost like he was tactically being cool about not doing it. It was like
being coy about it. Yeah. He knew what he could get away with. Nonsense.
So the other part of my pet peeve is that I don't know if you guys saw this. Alec Pierce got tossed from a game. Mm-hmm. And he got tossed from a game. He got ejected for touching a ref. And if you watch the replay, the ref actually leans into Alec Pierce, throws his elbow into Alec Pierce, and then throws the flag. Meanwhile, you have Myles Garrett getting the NFL sack record and a Brown high-fiving a NFL official. So my point here is the inconsistency of when you actually make a call. Alec Pierce did nothing wrong. He got ejected from a game. A guy from Myles Garrett's defensive line high-fived a guy. He got universally lauded, and there was absolutely no talk about ejecting him. It's crazy to me, the officiating in this league and how inconsistent it is.
It's all subjective. It's all they make it up as they go along. We talked already about the call against Carolina. Ball went out of bounds. They're not even announcing what they're seeing on the field. No, it's the worst it's ever been, and it's just going in the wrong direction, man.
There was a game earlier this year. I think it was Dart's first or second start where I think he handed it to Scadaboo, and it was a short goal line run. And the refs kind of were looking, and finally they gave the touchdown signal. And Dart was standing right by the official when he did it, and he high-fived him when he did the touchdown.
Yes, I do remember that, Mike.
Remember? I remember thinking, "Don't touch!" I was like, "Duh, don't touch the ref," because you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And then
that was in one of our 4 wins against the Eagles. I think that was the Thursday night game, I believe.
I don't even know where to put this. I was at a casual. We won't call it a fast food restaurant, but just a casual restaurant. And there's someone there that had a a collar around the neck. I didn't notice the ears until later, but they had two bowls in front of them. One of them they poured milk into, the other they poured chicken nuggets into. And they proceeded to act like a cat. And this was what I'm told is a furry.
That's right.
And
where is this going?
Yeah, where's this going is right. I was thinking the same thing.
Where this is going is like what are we supposed to do when you see something like this? Like do you congratulate this? Do you mock this? I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do when someone is acting like a cat that's not. And I go back to when I was younger. Like think about guys that were like, "Oh, this guy acts like he was Jesus Christ," and they treated this guy like he was like, this guy is out of his gourd. He acting like he's Jesus Christ, and we have these people that are acting like they're cats. It's like
this is what happens.
I don't know what to do with that.
No, there's nothing. This is what happens when you remove bullies from schools. Kids do stuff like this. You need bullies to monitor and take care of this.
I think it's the same thing when I see a stray cat walk down the street. I think it's the same reaction. I do nothing. I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know what to do about this. And it's like I feel bad because it's like, am I supposed to like act a certain way? Because you really can't be accepting of this. Like accepting a guy acting like a cat is almost like saying, okay, I accept someone that says they're gonna like imagine where it goes from there. Like if someone says, hey, I want to mimic a serial killer, are you gonna really mimic a guy that's like walking around with blood on himself and like a fake plastic like knife or something like that? You can't do that. But that's basically what happens.
The only problem I have with it is I've never seen a cat eat chicken nuggets. I get the bowl of milk.
I mean, I don't know. Cardone might remember. I grew up in the Lincroft with a guy. His name was Spaz Canaz, and he used to eat grasshoppers and boogers. But other than, I mean, we accepted him because he was weird and it was cool.
Well, the only Spaz I remember is Spaz from Meatballs from Camp North Star.
Yeah,
that's right.
Who actually won the stacking of the coffee cups round? Remember Spaz?
That's right.
The whole Spaz. Yeah,
Spaz.
Yeah, he came through on that one. That's the only Spaz I remember.
So I'll just leave it there and I'll move it on and go to Cardone.
All right. Mine is pretty short and sweet here. So one thing that drives me crazy, it happened at the end of the Ravens-Steeler game last night. As Baltimore's getting ready to position the ball for a game-tying or game-winning field goal, they did what I always say is incredibly stupid, wrong, drives me nuts. I just don't understand it. Lamar Jackson, it's only 2 yards, but Lamar Jackson takes a knee. You see this all the time where the quarterback, they're trying to just kill the clock or they're trying to get down to the last play to make the field goal, the last play of the game. And what does the quarterback always do under center? He fucking always takes 2-3 steps backwards, loses yards on purpose, I guess, and sets up now a 44-yard field goal, which Loop ends up missing. So, like, my question all the time is, it's the same thing as it's still a makeable field goal, but every yard to me matters, especially on field goals, especially when it's that kind of high pressure, that kind of windy conditions. It's cold. That place is a tough place to kick field goals. It's a 44-yarder. It's not a fucking chip shot. Let me ask you this: like, what's easier to make, a 3-foot putt or a 4-foot putt? The 3-foot putt.
3-foot putt.
So, like, the closer you are to something,
yep.
Why not just make it as close as possible? Why can't these teams, when they are when we see it all the time, guys? Have you noticed this? Like, I saw one time. It was so bad. I forget. It was a college game. I can't remember who the team was. They fucking took 3 knees to the tune of like 8 total yards. They turned like a 38-yard field goal. to win the game into like a 46-yarder. Now the guy ended up hitting it, but if I'm the field goal kicker, I'm standing there looking at the special teams coach and doing like, what the fuck are we doing? Why can't you just fall forward? Why do you have to? Why do you have to take those 2-3 steps backwards, then take the knee, and then have the? It cost now. When you look at that kick, again, because I barked a few weeks ago about how we don't have a camera on the fucking post, so we don't know exactly how much he missed that kick by, but let's assume it was pretty close. Now, he pushed it, so it ends up on the net. Like, wow, that was pretty wide. He wouldn't have made it anyway. That's not the point. The point is, why can't these teams just stop losing yards in that situation and just take – why can't you just – like you're trying to get – like a half yard or first down, like if it's 4th and inches and you're trying to do a tush push, why can't you do the same thing in that situation? Why must you lose those yards and make the field goal kick any longer than it has to be? Drives me nuts. And the Ravens lost because of it. I mean, well, in my mind, why not a 42-yarder is different than a 44-yarder? Is it not? It's 2 yards closer.
And they have Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And a timeout. Yep. Run the ball up the gut with Derrick Henry. Maybe he gets 4 yards.
Exactly.
And maybe that kick hooks around the post.
Maybe.
Yep.
Exactly. Why not just hand the ball off or just or Jackson or any of these guys? You see it all. I'm telling you, the next time it happens, watch it. Even and when the kick is good, you don't even think about it. Even when the kick is no good, no one brings this shit up except on our pod here. This is what a pet peeve. Like that drives me crazy, guys. And it made the field goal 2 yards longer. I don't care. Every yard, every foot, every inch matters in this game. And if it drives me crazy.
The Derrick Henry thing is something we talked about all the time. Why are we not running him all the time?
More. 32 carries,
situations.
34. The guy should be getting the ball 32 times.
Yeah.
In a game like that, absolutely.
Right? At the end,
a great point.
This isn't September where you need a guy for 4 months and you're trying to keep him healthy. This is when you can run the guy 32 times. It's fucking January. Like, this is it. This is what you play all year for.
Kept him healthy. Yeah,
this is
why you kept him healthy in week 2.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Did I miss anyone for pet peeves?
No. And Scott, before you get to questions, are there any Jet-specific questions? Because I'm being summoned. I'm at a conference. And people are
there
where are you? So,
okay, we do have a couple. Yeah, I will give them. So finish the sentence. 2026 was the year the Jets turned it around because blank.
They drafted really well, and they got their quarterback of the future at number 2. Whether that's Mendoza or Dante Moore or whatever. The one thing I will say about the Jets, and they're the worst team in the league, the offensive line of the Jets played every game and every down this year. No injuries, same 5. It was the one bright spot of this team, apparently other than their MVP kick returner who got cut by the team for weeks 2 to 5.
And then I'll give you one more. Which Jets free agents should be a priority to re-sign?
I'm going to say Breece Hall, and I'm usually not a running back person. I kind of agree with the league that you can pick up a running back in round 3 or 4, but I think Breece Hall brings a little bit more credibility to the team, and he was the one bright, shining star of that team. You can't just let all of your players go, and you can't just let all of your players sign somewhere else. I think it's more symbolic than it is actually production on the field, but they have to sign Breece Hall, and if they overpay him, I am fine with that. Need to get Breece Hall back.
All right. So, Novak, thanks for joining.
Guys, peace out. I'll see you this weekend. To all our fans and people that listen, thank you. Enjoyed it. And I was really angry tonight, and I'm sorry about that, but I hate my team.
It's awesome.
So
Very
I'll
awesome.
see you guys later. Peace.
All right.
Yeah.
Better Novak.
So we also have a question from Peacock. He asks, should the playoffs be seeded so the best records get the top seed regardless of winning a division? We actually, I think we talked about this last year. I don't think so. I think divisions winning means something. Let's keep that there. Very rarely do we have a bad division. I mean, we did this year with the Panthers being below 500, but I'm keeping it that way. That's my take.
I kind of like the idea. I do. I'm not sure where I've stood in the past on this on our pod. I know we've talked about it, but I feel like now I do feel like the team we saw last year, Minnesota won like 14 games and was a 5 seed on the road in the playoffs, so. But you're right, Scott. I mean, not every year do you have, you have 4 divisions. So you're going to have a team that's maybe, a wild card team's going to have a better record. But I don't know. I think the NFL likes to experiment with certain things. Why not just try experimenting with that just to see? I would like to see a couple years where the team with the better record gets the home game. The division winner, you make the playoffs, but you don't get the home game. I'm sorry. I feel like the team that wins 12, 13, whatever games over an 8-9 team win team should get the home game. Just for the first round. I think just keep it for the first round.
Yep. And I don't care what they do. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. I don't have a favorite or non-favorite. I don't want to. The only thing I would care about is if you could win your division and not make the playoffs. That would be a problem for me because then, as Scott said, truly your division means nothing. If that's what they're planning on doing, they should just get rid of the divisions. So, I'd hate to say,
was that the question or was it, I was just saying, was it home or away?
No.
Yeah. That's what I was just saying. I don't care what I don't have any concern or care about how they seed teams because the Giants aren't in the playoffs anyway, and they're probably not going to be. So it doesn't matter to me. But there's some people who are saying, it doesn't matter if you win your division. If you're 8-9, you shouldn't be in the playoffs. I disagree with that. Winning your division has to mean something. And if it doesn't, just get rid of the divisions, which I'm actually okay with too. You preserve them for nothing more than scheduling and then play a round robin essentially. But it doesn't matter to me at all. I'm not mad because the Carolina Panthers are in these playoffs. It doesn't, or, in past years, whatever, Washington at under 500, it doesn't matter to me at all.
Yeah. And then Peacock asks a question that we might have touched upon, but he asks if the Giants allowing Shane to run the draft in the next year is an abomination. And my personal take, yes. I think Shane should have been fired.
Yeah.
So I'm not happy about that at all.
Yeah, I think if in your mind, if you're John Mara, if you're saying you're already thinking ahead and you're saying if the Giants don't win 6 games this year, then I'm getting rid of Shane. So if that's your thought process, that your GM's not safe enough to survive a 5-win season, then just get rid of him. Don't let him pick your next set of players, for crying out loud. I think that's foolish. I do. If you don't have enough faith in him that he can't survive another mediocre to bad year, then why are you letting him pick your next players?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I can't add much more to that. He shouldn't. No, the guy shouldn't be in charge of the draft. Shouldn't be in charge of roster management. Shouldn't be in charge of anything. Just shouldn't. Yep.
So we have a couple questions by my friend Mike, and he asks, regarding the Giants beating Dallas, does Clowney actually have a lot more in the tank, or is the Giants O-line that shitty without Thomas and JMS? And I'll say this: look, I think Clowney has been a consummate pro, and I don't know if he has a lot more in the tank, but he played pretty well in this game.
Yeah. He had a few sacks, right? He was disrupting plays, throughout the game. So hard to say. One game, small sample size. I mean,
bad offensive line.
Bad offensive line. No, definitely bad offensive line by the Giants. I mean, Dallas is a bad defense. Clowney just made a couple good plays yesterday, I think. So maybe it might have just been an anomaly in a year that, who knows how much he has left. But, he certainly turned back the clock a little bit yesterday, about 5-6 years or so, for sure.
To me, this has been Clowney's MO. Clowney plays when he wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of like a poor man's Julius Peppers, where Yeah. Where he just might disappear for a 5-game stretch. You don't hear his name, and then he's going to have one game like this. I mean, that's pretty much been the story of this guy's career. Jadeveon plays when Jadeveon feels like playing. And apparently he felt like playing on Sunday.
And for our listeners, we talk about this. Clowney played in our area. So we when we talk about him as if we know him from playing in Rock Hill.
Yeah. In high school, I mean, he played for South Carolina. He single-handedly won a bowl game versus Michigan 1 year. I just took over a game in a way that I haven't seen in decades from the defensive side of the ball. When he wants to, when he's motivated, man, he could have been a great one.
We also get a question: what Giants and Jets free agents should be a priority re-signed? And for me, a lot of people think of this as being sort of controversial. I want to resign Wan'Dale Robinson. I don't think you can replicate receivers like receivers like Edelman or people like that in the slot like you want. I really do think that he's valuable.
Yeah, I was thinking, I hadn't given it much thought, but Robinson was the first guy who kind of entered my mind. So not to, kind of repeat what you said, Scott, but when I heard Robinson's name come up yesterday during the Cowboy game, I was thinking, man, I do not want to see this guy go. I think statistically, I'm sure he had his best year. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I felt like Wan'Dale had, he was a bright spot in an otherwise, obviously shitty season. So I would like to see Wan'Dale come back. I want to see as many weapons for Dart next year as possible. We're going to get Neighbors back. We're going to get Scatterbo back. We're going to get maybe maybe we get Tate in the draft. Who knows? So I want as much for Dart as possible. Yeah, we need O-line. We know all that stuff. But Robinson would be a guy I would want to sign and have come back.
Yeah, I think that's that should be the target priority to bring back. And I'm not saying pay him, a ton of money, but he's exactly the kind of player who we've been letting go. And, the sort of not the best player at the position on your team, but a good contributor and a good depth player. Wan'Dale, listen, I'm talking about him like he's a third string receiver or something. He had 1,000 yards.
He had 1,000 yards. Yeah.
I mean, we can't let that guy go. I'm looking at the list here of our potential free agents, and the names that jump off on me are guys, they're not all great ones, but I'd get Illuminor back. I'd get Van Roten back. Wan'Dale, of course. Cordell Flott and Dane Belton. I want both of those guys back. They, if for nothing else than for depth, I think they're both pretty good players. And then I have a soft spot for Gunner and Ballinger. I like those guys.
Yeah, I just looked at it. Wan'Dale, he had 92 catches.
Yeah,
92 for over 1,014 yards. So very respectable numbers.
Yeah. And if he played week 17, he could have had 100.
Yeah.
2 weeks he had, or 2 years he had 1,000 yards. By the way, did you guys see the camera that showed Jerry Jones towards the end of the game? And did he look dead? And why was he sitting outside where the cheap seats were? I did not see it. I would have loved to have seen him as the crypt keeper.
Yeah, I saw him. He didn't look any more or less dead than he has to me for the last 5 years. He looked exactly the same amount of dead. He did his clap that, you're not in the box with him, so you don't hear it, but it doesn't look like it's the type of clap that makes any noise. Like it's just a weird sort of cupped hand clapping motion that he does. And he's been doing that for decades. But yeah, no, Jerry.
I just want to piggyback. No, Jerry, the guy, he looks like a corpse, right? I mean, the guy, he definitely looks like the crypt keeper. He looks like he's got 1 foot in the grave already. My running joke is, you've heard me say it many times. I said, the year he dies is the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl that year, and he won't get to see it. That's my prediction there. But
God,
no, I wanted to
awesome.
we were just talking about Wandale's numbers, right? 92 for 10-14. Darius Slayton, on the other hand, I mean, this so fucking Slayton. Slayton on the year, 37 catches, 538 yards. There's your Darius Slayton. There's your 3-year, $36 million man. There he is. 37 catches.
He does have more than 400 yards, right?
I mean, true, but 538.
Just kidding.
That is, I mean, that is Slayton. That's it. That's his whole life. 538 yards, 37 catches. 37, by the way, is probably the same fucking punting net average that Gillian averaged all year. That guy, he's still around. Gillian was still doing it yesterday in a meaningless fourth quarter punt. He still finds time to jack off a 37-yard punt from Jamie Gillian, and we keep bringing it. It's incredible. We keep bringing this guy back.
Did you? I don't know what game it was. I think it was Atlanta, Tampa Bay. But Riley Dixon's still punting in this league.
Riley Dixon.
Yeah. And he's pinning people down inside the 10 with regularity.
I want to say this: Riley Dixon from Syracuse.
Ah. And while Gillian's hitting a 36-yarder, did you see the one? The Dallas guy hit one from hit a 65-yarder at some point in the game. I was just laughing looking at Gillian.
Gunner's lined up under that ball, and he has to run back 15, 16 yards to field that ball. Where's our guy doing that?
Never.
I mean, you just look at a team like Dallas, and they're beating you. They're beating us off the bus just simply because they have a kicker and a fucking punter. That's it. Yep. Really good ones.
Good ones.
All right, guys. We'll reconvene next week. I think we're planning on going out and seeing Super Wildcard Weekend. But to me, this slate of games is really interesting as hell. I really do think we're seeing the best playoff like matchups you can.
Yeah,
should be good. The best first week in a while, I think. I agree.
Should be good.
Yeah.
I did want to bring up one last thing, Scott, before we part here. I saw that the Giants are possibly going to be lining up to interview Kevin Patullo. Did you guys see that?
Who the fuck is that?
So that's the Eagles OC, the Eagles offensive coordinator.
I didn't know that.
it just came to me right before we came on. I don't know if it's legit or not, but yes, it was reported that he would be lined up for there's interview or interest in him, and I'm like, well, all I've been hearing is that the Eagles offense evidently is not where it's supposed to be or what it has been from last year. So do we want this guy to even be considered? I don't think so. I don't want him.
But by the way, I'll just point this out as our last thing. Who are the Giants not interviewing? Have you ever heard this many candidates for one job? No. Everyone they're interviewing. I'll tell you what. When I saw that Pete Carroll got fired, I want nothing to do with Pete Carroll. So don't worry, I'm not going there. No. I'm not going there. But I'll tell you who does, and I'll tell you who probably was like, "Damn it," because they just hired a new guy. I'll bet Michigan would have swept up Pete Carroll in a heartbeat.
Probably.
It can be.
Yeah. Carroll, what is he? 74? How old is Pete Carroll?
I think he's over. Yeah. He's definitely over 70. I think he's like 71. But yeah.
The guy that the Wolverines just hired is 66. So
yeah.
Not much difference there.
Yeah, I guess not.
All right, fellas. We'll probably have to talk about what we're doing this weekend, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, guys. See you guys. Have a good week.
Yeah.